Well, listeners, get ready for a real treat today. We're heading into the 100-acre wood. You submitted Winnie the Pooh, and I have to say, revisiting it, it was like pure magic.
It's amazing, isn't it? You'd think a book for kids would be, well, simple, but it's full of these really deep ideas about who we are, about friendship, about finding joy in the little things.
Totally. And we kind of forget that, right? I mean, we think children's book, we think, well, childlike. But Melanie, he was brilliant at sneaking in these deeper meanings.
He really was.
So to really get Winnie the Pooh, we got to start at the very beginning, right there in Milne's introduction.
Yeah, that introduction, it's genius. He doesn't just jump into the story. He talks right to you, the reader, about how Winnie the Pooh got his name, even how Edward Bear needed something a little more exciting.
It's true.
It's like meta, right?
So meta. Like, he's letting us peek behind the scenes of how stories are made.
Totally.
And then there's that line where he's like, I don't know whether Winnie was called after Pooh or Pooh after Winnie. Makes you wonder about stories, about memories, what's real,
Exactly. He even says, but then Christopher Robin knew that what Pooh said was a different kind of bear altogether, a new kind of bear. Because, of course, what really matters is the kind of bear you are inside. He's saying it's who you are deep down that counts, not just what people see.
And isn't that something we all struggle with? Like figuring out who we are underneath what everyone expects us to be.
It really is.
And he does it all in this fun, playful way that only works because it's a children's book.
Right. That playfulness, it's key. Because he's giving us these big ideas, but without being all serious and preachy. He's inviting us to think about being true to ourselves, even if people around us don't get it.
And speaking of being true to oneself, can we talk about Pooh for a sec? This bear and his honey, I mean, come on. It's simple, but it's what gets him into the funniest, most relatable messes. Like in chapter 2, he's going to see Rabbit and his logic.
What is it?
Rabbit means company, and company means food.
It's so Pooh.
So straightforward. And of course, what happens? He gets stuck in Rabbit's doorway after eating, you guessed it, way too much honey. It's like when we get carried away by something we love, even if it'll probably have consequences, you know what I mean? We've all been there.
Oh, absolutely. Whether it's too many cookies or getting lost in a project and forgetting about everything else, we've all got that little bit of Pooh in us, haven't we?
100%.
But you know what I love about that scene? It's not just Pooh stuck there. It's how Milne brings in Christopher Robin to show us that sometimes we need a new point of view. Christopher Robin, with his innocent wisdom, he just sees the solution. Silly old bear, he says to Pooh, and you can just hear the love and understanding.
So true.
Like sometimes we need someone else to help us see a way out when we're the ones stuck,
And that's Christopher Robin to a T, isn't it? He's patient, he's understanding, always there to help. He doesn't judge Pooh one bit for getting stuck. He just focuses on fixing it. Reads to Pooh while he's waiting to, as he says, get thinner. It's just pure friendship,
Yeah, it really is. And Milne makes it so funny, like picturing Rabbit hanging up laundry on Pooh's bottom while he's stuck there.
It's hilarious.
It's like even when things are tough, a little laughter and support from your friends makes all the difference.
100%. And of course, Pooh gets unstuck. He always does.
Yeah.
Now, talking about heartwarming stuff, chapter 6 takes us to Eeyore's birthday. And let me tell you, it's full of these touching moments about friendship, about what gifts really mean, and finding happiness where you least expect it.
Oh, Eeyore, the king of gloom, he's just standing by the river looking at his reflection, and he says, pathetic. That's what it is, pathetic. But even in his sadness, you can tell he just wants to feel connected, to be seen.
Yeah. And then there's Pooh. Bless him. He's set on making Eeyore's birthday amazing. Even though, typical Pooh, he forgets it's not his own birthday. But it's that pure, innocent love for his friend. It's what makes him so lovable,
He really does wear his heart on his sleeve, doesn't he?
He really does. And Piglet, too, bless his little heart. He's terrified of, well, just about everything.
He is a worrier.
But he still wants to make Eeyore's day special. So he decides to give him Red Balloon because it's Eeyore's favorite color.
Yeah.
But of course, this is Winnie the Pooh. Nothing goes exactly to plan, right? And well, the balloon, it pops.
Oh, no.
It does. And you just think, oh, Eeyore, poor guy, that's going to ruin his day. But then Milne, he does something so smart. Eeyore just goes, why? I believe my balloon will just go into that pot. He's talking about Pooh's present, the empty honey pot.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Isn't it? Like finding a little bit of joy, even when things go wrong. It's the thought that counts, right?
It really is. Pooh and Piglet, their gifts aren't perfect, but they gave them with love, and that's what matters.
It's like those little things kids make for you,
Mm-hmm.
They might not be like masterpieces.
Right.
But they mean the world because you know how much effort went into them.
Exactly. It's not about the price tag, it's about the thought behind it, the love. Milne's reminding us of that.
It makes you think about what we consider a good gift, doesn't it?
It does. He makes you appreciate those simple acts of love and friendship, the ones we don't always notice.
Totally. Okay, so we've talked about who we are, about friendship, about gifts. But then chapter 9, it's like, whoa, curveball, the flood. Not exactly the happy-go-lucky 100-acre wood we're used to.
It's true, it gets serious for a bit there. But the way Milne writes it, it's still gentle, you know? Like he's reminding us that even in a perfect place like the 100-acre wood, life happens. Stuff comes up.
And that image of the water rising around Piglet's house, it's a little scary, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Especially thinking about Piglet, he's so small.
I know. But even with the flood, you see how strong these characters are, how they figure things out. Piglet, even though he's scared, he puts that message in a bottle. It's such a tiny thing, but it shows he hasn't given up hope.
And then there's Pooh, sound asleep. He just discovered the North Pole, by the way, which is hilarious.
Typical Pooh.
But when he wakes up, surrounded by water, what does he think of?
Honey pots.
Of course. It's funny, but it's also kind of amazing. He's in a tough spot, but he uses what he has, adapts. I mean, a honey pot is a boat. Genius.
Pure genius. And it works. He finds Piglet's message, though, of course, he thinks the P is for Pooh, not Piglet, because,
Has to be about him. I love those little details. It's like we all mess up, even with the best intentions.
So true. But he's determined to save his friend. He faces his fear of the water, hops in his honey pot boat, and what does he do? Saves the day. And Christopher Robin, he gets it. He calls the honey pot the brain of Pooh, recognizing how brave Pooh was.
Which is huge for Pooh, because he doesn't always believe in himself, does he?
Not really. But that moment, it's like Christopher Robin saying, you're smart in your own way, Pooh. And we all need someone to say that to us, right? To see our strengths, even when they're unexpected.
Absolutely. And the flood, even though it was scary, it brought everyone closer. They helped each other, found out they were stronger than they thought, and their friendship, it just grew stronger because of it.
It's like they needed that adventure to remind them how much they mean to each other.
Exactly. You know, it makes you think about our own lives, how going through tough stuff with people can make those bonds even stronger.
Totally. And then, of course, chapter 10, it's the perfect ending. Christopher Robin throws a party to celebrate Pooh.
For being a hero.
I love how even with all that excitement, they're still, well, themselves,
Oh, absolutely. Like Eeyore trying to pretend he didn't do anything. Classic Eeyore. Friends, including Oddments. What I did was nothing.
And that whole whispering to Christopher Robin about maybe a present under the table. Come on.
Ah, the best. He wants to be happy for Pooh, but he just can't help being Eeyore, can he?
He can't. But that's why we love him. And then Christopher Robin gives Pooh the most perfect gift.
What's that?
A pencil case. A beautiful one, full of pencils and things. It's just fitting somehow.
It really is. Because Christopher Robin's kind of saying, Pooh, you keep going on adventures, keep using that big heart and that even bigger imagination of yours.
It's like he's saying, Pooh, go write your own story.
Yes. And don't worry about making mistakes along the way. And honestly, isn't that what Winnie the Pooh is all about? It seems like a simple children's book, but it's got so much wisdom tucked away in there about friendship, about getting back up when you fall down, about finding the joy in every single day.
It really makes you want to go back to all those books you loved as a kid, doesn't it? The ones you thought were just stories.
I know I do.
See what else you might discover now that you're, well, a little older.
Because they're not just stories, are they? They teach us things, even if we don't realize it at the time. They stay with us. So, as we say goodbye to Pooh, to Piglet, to Eeyore, to all of them for now, we'll leave you with this.
What story from your childhood, one you maybe haven't thought about in years, might have something new to say to you today? You never know, it might just have a whole world of wisdom hidden inside, just like Winnie the Pooh.